lot of forecasts coming from CLSA, who's a little concerned about this super tax.
Yes, good morning, Susan. The forecast is certainly far from rosy. If you study the region, you study the Asia Pacific region and Australian equities, CLSA is saying it will be the biggest loser in 2010. That is what the independent brokerage investment group is saying. It has this forecast because China is Australia's biggest export market and buyer of iron ore. And with China's economy now slowing, there's less demand for commodities. Australia's benchmark had rallied 20% in the last 12 months, with Chinese expansion fueling demand for commodities, which are Australia's exports of copper and iron ore. But then the ASX 200 has fallen 11% since climbing to an 18-month high. That was recorded on April 15th. The losses then sped up even more after the government announced a 40% tax on super profits in the mining industry. That announcement was made on the 2nd of May. So how have BHP Billiton, how has Rio Tinto fared since the Australian government announced that tax? So in the last couple of weeks, we've seen BHP off 3.8, nearly 3.9%. Also, according to the Financial Review of Australia, BHP's CEO says he won't rule out cutting the company's dividend because of the resource profits tax. And then taking a look at Rio Tinto as well, the third largest mining company on the planet. Rio Tinto Group, it's off 6.5% in the last couple of weeks. Also want to point out Moody's is saying the proposed tax is negatively affecting investment in the industry, and earnings at those companies may take a significant hit, as much as a third. So with mining companies now reassessing business plans and considering scaling back expansion, there is a potential olive branch from the Australian government. Tomorrow, in fact, Australia's managing director for Rio Tinto is set to be in the capital, Canberra, to consult with Treasury officials about the government's resource tax. And then the world's largest mining company, BHP Billiton, and other companies such as Woodside and Xstrata also may be in on some meetings with the Australian government and Treasury officials. Susan?
Yeah. Looks like there's some big implications coming from that super tax. Mel, thank you for that. Melissa Long joining us there from Sydney.